Welcome to the French kitchen and Happy New Year. So today, to celebrate the Epiphany on January 6th, we're gonna make a typical French dish, which is the king pie. So there are two versions actually of the king pie, one from the north, one from the south. I believe that the one from the south, which is more like a brioche with dry fruits, a bit like a panettone, can be found in New Orleans. This version is going to be from the north. It's a pie with puff pastry filled with a almond cream. So there's going to be three main steps. So the first one, we're going to start by making a cream with some sugar. So we have about 15 grams of 16 grams of sugar. There is a mix of flour and cornstarch. So it's about 8 grams and 5 grams of respectively flour and cornstarch, 1 yolk, 100 milliliters of milk. So we're gonna mix these together and we're gonna warm the milk with some vanilla extract. Then in the second step, we're gonna make a cream almond, and then we're gonna incorporate the cream we did in the first step as well. So for that, we have 100 grams of sugar, 100 grams of almond flours, 2 eggs, and 100 grams of butter, which has been taken out of the fridge, so it's softened. And finally, we're gonna have 2 puff pastries to make the top and bottom of the pie. So we are gonna start with the cream. So when you mix this cream with the almond paste, it's called frangipane. Actually, I'm gonna do a little less of that cream because I like my king pie to really have an almond taste, which is really the traditional one. But then you can do variations with chocolate, with apple, with actually this year what I want to try is with hazelnut instead of almond flour. I'm gonna use hazelnut flour. So we're gonna start whisking the yolk with the sugar. Then we're gonna add our mix of flour and cornstarch. So I'm gonna mix these two together. I'm gonna add this mix. So it's gonna obviously thicken, but then we're gonna add on top the warm milk, and then we're gonna cook it, and that's gonna be our cream. I think it's good. So now we're gonna add the milk in the pot. Just add tiny bit of vanilla extract. And we're gonna warm the milk, and then when it's warm, we're gonna add it to the mix. So I'm gonna turn off the heat just as the milk is about to boil, and now we're gonna mix it with the egg, sugar, and flour. So now we're gonna pour the milk slowly. And so now it's been incorporated. We are going to move that mix into the pot and warm it until it thickens. So back to the stove. So the mix starts to thicken. As you can see. So the cream will give some smoothness to the filling. I just don't want to make too much of it because it also takes a little bit of the almond taste. So I think that's gonna be good. You see how it's thickened. Very good. And so we're gonna let it cool, and while it cools down, we can prepare the rest. So for this step, we're gonna use the KitchenAid with the whisk attachment. So first, we're gonna put the butter in. So it's been out of the fridge for, I don't know, about a bit less than 1 hour. So we're gonna just mix it. And then we'll start adding the sugar. So once the sugar and the butter have been incorporated, it really looks like a cream. And now we're gonna start adding the eggs. So we're gonna add our first egg. And let it incorporate completely. Then we're gonna add our second egg. until we get a smooth consistency. Then you can add some aroma to it. So typically we add just a little bit of rum, just for the taste. And now we are gonna start incorporating the almond flour. And finally, we will add the cream that we prepared earlier. So now it's cooled down. And so we're gonna add this to the mix. And that's gonna be our filling. So this is our filling. So we are gonna then prepare 2 discs of puff pastry, and we're gonna use that filling. So back in a minute. Okay, so I've already prepared my first disc. So we're gonna now prepare the second one. So for that, the easiest way, once you have taken your puff pastry and expanded it using your rolling pin, use a plate and a knife and just cut along the edge. And then you can use the rest to make small tarts or some appetizers with cheese. There we go. So we have our second disc. So now we are gonna put the filling on the first one. So for that, I'm gonna use a piping bag to put the cream. So I'm gonna put the cream in the bag. And we're gonna start from the center and just put a layer of cream. There we go. And so one thing before we put the other disc on top is to use those ceramics. So we have different kinds, and to hide them in the filling, so towards the outside, so you got less chances to cut them through. And so whomever gets one of these ceramic, and so be careful when you eat the pie, gets the crown. So when you buy this dessert in France in a store, you will get the pie and you will get also the crown. Right, so now we are gonna take the second disc and place it on top so it covers perfectly. And we're gonna use a fork to seal the two puff pastries by pressing along the edge all the way around. And next we will place the puff pastry in the fridge while we warm up the oven. And finally we will cook the pie. So back in a couple of minutes. So the pie is in the fridge, so we're gonna start the oven. And so we're gonna start at 395. And so it's gonna cook at 395, so adjusted at 370 because got convection for 10 minutes, and then we will lower to 350 for another 20 minutes about. Okay, so back when the oven is ready. So the oven is ready, so we're gonna get the pie out of the fridge, and before putting the pie in the oven we're gonna prepare it. So first thing, we're gonna make a small hole in the middle, like this. And then we're gonna make, using a sharp knife, some decoration on top. So slightly cutting, not cutting through though. So these will show up when the pie cooks. You can really make whatever you want. This one is kind of an easy one to make, like the sun. And then I'm gonna use prepared one yolk. I'm gonna use a tablespoon of water, and I'm gonna mix with my egg yolk. And I'm just gonna cover the pie so it's really golden when it comes out of the oven. So all the way. Just make sure that the hole we created is still there. So a small tiny hole in the middle. And now we're gonna put the pie in the oven. So we let it cook 10 minutes at this temperature, and then we lower by about 40 degrees and let it cook for another 20 minutes. So it's been 10 minutes. Now we are gonna change the oven temperature. So we are going to adjust to 440. And it's gonna run for 20 minutes now. So the pie is ready now. So we're gonna get it out of the oven. I'm gonna slide it on this plate. And here we have our Galette des Rois, also known as the king pie. Bon appétit!